Hey guys, and welcome on into Getting Wild and Flying High, free NHL and MLB picks. I'm Terry and ready to break down a huge Saturday slate. So I am going to get started. I'm going to break down every game. There is one game where I have a premium play up on the site. I'm giving up all my premium plays except one, and that will be available up on the site along with my other plays. Going to give out a lot of plays today, not just premium plays, but a lot of all my plays for tomorrow. Normally, we would start the show by looking at what happened tonight, which is Friday, but the games are still happening. So there's no point in looking at anything. We will look at that tomorrow for tomorrow's show. But we'll jump right into it and start in the NHL. And we'll start with the first game happening here at 1 p.m. Uh, Saturday afternoon. We have the St. Louis Blues plus 115 to plus 133. Nashville Predators minus 141 to minus 163. Sixes and five and a halves available in this one. And the Blues, they are hot right now. For whatever reason, they are playing pretty good hockey at this point of the year. 6-1-1 in their last 8 games, trending to the over. 5 straight games over 6.5. Nashville 3-3 in their last 6, so they're kind of treading water, not falling out of this playoff race, but not making any leg up on the teams above them. They've gone under in 4 of their last 5, so they're trending more towards the under. St. Louis 5-1 in the last 6 meetings between the teams. 6 of the last 7 meetings went over 6.5. So with the total, I'm not really sure. I think it could actually finish with 6 goals. I think it could be a push. Nashville playing towards the under, St. Louis playing towards the over. Both teams usually play towards the over, so a lean for the over with me in this one. But my free play up in the site for tomorrow is St. Louis Blues on the money line. I think nice plus 130 price with the Blues, who are playing well and have played well against Nashville lately. Looking at the Blues, the hottest player for them right now is Braden Shen. He has a point in 10 of his last 11 games, and he has an assist in 9 of his last 11. The point for him will most likely have to be a parlay piece. I don't expect it to be good enough price to bet singly, as he is on the top line. But if it is for him to get a point anywhere less than minus 130, I would definitely take it. If not, his assist prop will be plus money, and he's done it in 9 of his last 11 games. So that's where I would go in this one. Our second game of the day, Boston Bruins, Pittsburgh Penguins. Boston minus 120 to minus 138. Pittsburgh plus 100 to plus 118. 6.5s right across the board in this one. Boston 8-1 in their last 9 games. They clinched the President's Trophy, and just a fantastic year for the Bruins. They've gone under 6.5 in 5 of their last 6 games. Pittsburgh 3-2 in their last 5, off a 2-0 shutout win against the Nashville Predators. And now they face the best team in the NHL. Boston's already beat Pittsburgh both times they played this year. And I think this is a good price for the Bruins. They are just consistent in finding ways to win games. Minus 135, I think, is a good, fair price for them on the road. If you have Betano and you can get the minus 120, obviously take that. If not, minus 135 everywhere else. I like that price for the Bruins. If you're looking at Bruins props, it has to be David Pastrnak. He has a goal in 6 of his last 8 games. And I'm going to be looking at his shot prop tomorrow. Normally, I'm not a person that does shot props, but he has over 4.5 shots on goal, so 5 shots in 9 straight games. He has at least 5 shots. So if his shot prop is 4.5 at a fair price, so anything better than minus 130, I will be taking it for tomorrow in this one. On the third game here, the Islanders in Tampa Bay. New York Islanders plus 120 to plus 140. Tampa Bay minus 150 to minus 167. 5.5s and sixes available in this one. Islanders 5-1-1 in their last 7 games, playing great hockey and heading towards clinching a playoff spot. They're not too far away, and they've earned it with their play. Tampa Bay 2-4 in their last 6 back-to-back wins for the Lightning. They've been a streaky team. When they're hot, they're hot, but when they're cold, they're cold. They've been better at home this year for sure. The Lightning 8-1-1 in the last 10 at home against the Islanders. Tampa Bay's won the last 4 meetings between the teams and covered the puck line in all 4 games. I don't really like this price here for Tampa. I don't really want to take them on the puck line, even though it is a nice price. Islanders are playing well right now. Don't want to step in front of them. They've struggled against Tampa Bay. So overall, this game is a pass. No player props that really jumped off the table for me in this one. So not too much, nothing in this game actually. Another game where unfortunately I have nothing in. We have the Carolina Hurricanes and the Montreal Canadiens. Carolina minus 250 to minus 300. Montreal plus 190 to plus 245. 6.5s right across the board. Carolina's won 1 of their last 5 games. Montreal 3-3 in their last 6. Carolina, they've dominated Montreal for a long time, which shouldn't be much of a surprise to anybody. 5-1-1 in the last 7 games in Montreal. 13-1-1 in the last 15 meetings between the teams. But if you watched the show recently, you can probably guess that I'm not laying this price with this Carolina Hurricanes team, especially with how they're playing right now. You would have to take them on the puck line for around minus 110 at most spots, minus 101 at Pinnacle. But that's a big price to lay on a puck line for a team that's just not playing well. Yes, they've dominated Montreal in the past. That's mostly what's keeping me off looking at the Habs here. But ultimately, this game, another game, I'm just not interested in. Buffalo Sabres, Philadelphia Flyers. Buffalo minus 109 to minus 125. Philadelphia Flyers minus 105 to plus 100. 3 6s, 4 6.5s. So split here in this game. Buffalo kind of trying to get back into the race here, and mathematically they're not out of it. They are currently leading. But the last time I checked here, they were leading 2-1 against the New York Rangers in Buffalo. If they can get that win against the Rangers and then follow it up with another win here against Philadelphia, Buffalo will be back in this race. Here, Philadelphia 5-0-2 in their last 7 games. They are red hot right now for whatever reason. Buffalo 5-2 in the last 7 meetings between the teams. 8 of the last 9 have gone over 6.5. So we've seen high scoring games between the teams. However, Buffalo's 5-2 in the last 7 meetings, but those 2 losses were this year. Philadelphia beat them 4-0 and 5-2. So not very good games for the Sabres against Philadelphia this year, and they will be on the second night of a back-to-back here. And that's what's making this game a pass. Buffalo is fighting for any playoff chances they have. Philadelphia is playing well, and they're not rolling over. So ultimately, nothing in this game. Possibly a draw. Possibly a draw, and I'm going to write that down here. Now that I think about it, possibly a draw in this game. I could see a overtime here because both these teams are playing well right now, and both are pretty much out of the race. But Buffalo still has some hope in this one. Moving on along to the Battle of Ontario, Toronto Maple Leafs and the Ottawa Senators. Toronto minus 140 to minus 154. Ottawa Senators plus 110 to plus 132. 6.5s, mostly here. I do see a couple sevens in this game. And I'm recording this game, or I'm recording this game. I'm recording this show. It is currently at this moment 9:23 p.m. Eastern, and I suggest if you do like the over, which is where I'm going in this game, you take it as soon as possible. Don't wait till Saturday afternoon to take this, because most likely it's going to be sevens probably across the board, and these 6.5s most likely will probably be gone in here in this one. Toronto's gone over 6.5 in 5 of their last 7 games. Ottawa has gone over 6.5 in 4 straight games. Toronto 5-1 in the last 6 meetings against Ottawa. 4 of the last 5 games have gone to overtime. I would not be surprised at all if we get a 3-3 game in this one going to overtime. And then whatever happens there happens. Ottawa 4-2 in their last 6. Toronto 4-2-1 in their last 7. Toronto the far better team, but this Senators team has been scrappy lately. I like the over in this one. I think we get goals on both sides. No props for me. Obviously, the Brady Kachuk, Tim Stutzel, and Claude Giroux line is hot, but they're kind of mixed in goals and assists, and I don't really see a long enough streak for me to be confident in either side, whether it be goal or an assist. But if you're looking for players to get a point in a parlay, Brady Kachuk is definitely a good look in this one. And I did not look at the Toronto Maple Leafs props, um, but you could always look at their big guns. They're always good looks. Florida Panthers and the Columbus Blue Jackets here. Florida minus 200 to minus 250. Columbus plus 163 to plus 207. 6.5s, a couple sevens in this one. And even though Florida finally went under in a game, they've still gone over 6.5 in 6 of their last 7 games. Columbus has also gone over 6.5 in 6 of their last 7 games. Florida 2-4 in their last 6, but off to back-to-back wins, right in the playoff race. Columbus 2-5-1 in their last 8, and right in the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. Florida 4-1-1 in their last 6 in Columbus. They've 9-2 in the last 11 meetings, so they've had success against this Columbus team recently. And for the last 5 meetings between the teams have gone over 7.5. I like goals in this one, going with the over 6.5. And for player props, Eetu Luostarinen for the Florida Panthers has a point in 3 straight games, an assist in 3 straight games. And he is obviously playing with Matthew Tkachuk, who had a hat trick in his last game and is always a good look to find the back of the net. And that's most likely, depending on the price. Obviously, Florida, big favorites here, but only minus 200. So we've seen 300s, 400s, and player props still not be a horrible price. So I'll be looking at Matthew Tkachuk. I know Eetu Luostarinen, if he's available for a point, it'll be plus money. If not, his assist prop will be very high plus money. And that's where I'll be looking in this game. We will move on along to our next one. Here we have the New Jersey Devils and the Chicago Blackhawks. New Jersey minus 294 to minus 333. Chicago plus 213 to plus 277. 6.5s right across the board here. New Jersey 3-2-1 in their last 6. So after a little bit of a slump, they're starting to turn it around here. Chicago has lost 7 games in a row, all by multiple goals. So no overtime losses, no one-game losses, all multiple goal losses. Last 5 meetings between the teams in Chicago went over 6.5. But I don't really have too much in this game when it comes to side or total. kind of priced out of taking the Devils. I always want to look at the Devils on the road as they're the best road team in the NHL. However, the puck line, you're looking at minus 118 and minus 120. And even though Chicago is losing by multiple goals to everyone, I don't really want to lay that price. But if you were going anywhere in this game, that's where it would have to be is Devils puck line. Do have a player prop here, though. Nico Hischier to get an assist. He has done that in 6 of his last 8 games. Obviously, the top line center on the top power play. And now he's in Chicago facing this horrible Blackhawks team. So that's where I would go here is Nico Hischier over half an assist, which should be plus money in this one. Our next game here is a game that I was really looking forward to. I'll break down the odds here. Dallas plus 120 or plus 115 to plus 133. Colorado minus 140 to minus 163. Sixes, I do see a 6.5 available in this one. I had this game circled. Dallas plays tonight, and I thought for sure they would go with their rookie goaltender, Matthew Murray, and they would save Jake Ottinger for this game because this is a very important game. Dallas, Colorado are tied for second place in the Central Division, both 3 points behind Minnesota. Dallas plays tonight. If they get the win, they're 1 point behind Minnesota. This game, assuming Minnesota loses to Vegas, could put Dallas into first place. So very important game for them. I'm shocked that they're starting Jake Ottinger tonight and not saving him for this game against Colorado. Maybe he goes back to back. But again, do you want to overplay your starting goalie? He is just being overused constantly. But the reason why I wanted to take Dallas here, Colorado 9-2 in their last 11 games, which looks great. However, as I said on a few shows recently, they played some of the worst teams in the NHL. If you look at their last 7 games against playoff teams, they're 1-6. 1 win, 6 losses. So Colorado beating up on the bad teams, but not playing well against good competition. But I need to see what happens here. What happens to Dallas tonight matters. How many shots Arizona gets on Jake Ottinger. Maybe they only get 16 shots, 18 shots, under 20 shots. And then Jake Ottinger probably plays again in this one. And if he does, I'll probably be on Dallas. If it's Matthew Murray in net, I'll probably be looking towards the over 6 in this one. But nothing official here as of yet, and no player props right now either. San Jose Sharks minus 110 to minus 120. Arizona Coyotes minus 111 to plus 100. 6.5s right across the board here. I just want to pull up. I want to pull up and see what Arizona's home record is. Just bear with me here while I do that. Arizona, so they are 7-23-9 on the road, 7 wins, 23 losses, 9 overtime losses. But at home, they are 20-12-4. So the Arizona Coyotes play very well at home. They're obviously facing Dallas tonight. So this will be the second night of a back-to-back for them, facing the Arizona Coyotes. Facing the San Jose Sharks. San Jose has beat Arizona both times this year, but San Jose struggled in Arizona. The Coyotes 5-1-1 in their last 7 at home against San Jose. 7 of the 9 games went over 6.5. San Jose 2-6-3 in their last 11, fighting to get Connor Bedard. They've gone over 6.5 in 4 of their last 5. For me, I'm looking at one prop. He's done it in 6 games straight. We'll see if he can do it in tonight's game. So that would be 7 straight. But regardless, if he doesn't get an assist tonight, if that streak ends, I'll jump back up on it tomorrow here against the San Jose Sharks. And that is Nick Schmaltz, who plays on the top line with Clayton Keller and Barrett Hayden. He has an assist, as I said, in 6 straight games. Um, if he does it in the game on Friday night tonight, it'll be 7 games in a row. So I'm targeting him for a player prop here. And I'm tempted to take the Arizona Coyotes at plus money here at home. I just don't like that they're on the second night of a back to back here in this one. 3 more games left, and then we will get to the MLB slate. We have the Anaheim Ducks plus 310 to plus 380. And Edmonton Oilers minus 435 to minus 500. Sevens, I see a 6.5 and I see a 7.5. In this one, Anaheim has lost 6 games in a row, all in regulation. Edmonton Oilers 8-0-1 in their last 9, over 6.5 in 5 of their last 8 games. And I made the mistake of taking the LA Kings against this Oilers team. The Oilers were big favorites for a reason, and that's because this team is rolling right now. Oilers 5-1-1 in the last 7 meetings against Anaheim. All 7 games over 6.5. However, 6.5 is minus 164. The books expect a lot of goals in this game as well. And I'm pretty much priced out of this game. I don't want to take the total. I don't want to really be looking at sides. And there's no really props, no props that stand out for me. So don't have to bet every game. Obviously, with 14 NHL games and 15 MLB games, it is totally fine to pass on some games, which is what I did here. But not what I did here. I didn't pass in this game, which I don't think will surprise much people. But Minnesota minus 102 to minus 115. Vegas Golden Knights minus 115 to minus 120. Sixes, I see a couple 5.5s in this one. The Wild 16-1-4 in their last 21 games, coming off a huge road victory against the Colorado Avalanche, and now a home and home against this Vegas Golden Knights team, who beat the Wild 6-1 right before they got into this hot streak. Vegas 8-2-1 in their last 11. They've gone over 6.5 in 8 of their last 9 games. Minnesota's gone under 6.5 in 4 of their last 5. Vegas 4-1 in the last 5 meetings in Vegas between these teams. Both teams playing well, but I have to go with the Wild here. 1 regulation loss in their last 21 games. I'm going to continue to bet Minnesota. They're continuing to find ways to win. Great road price here, and I'm just going to continue to back them while we're getting these great prices for the Wild. Marcus Johansson has a point in 6 of his last 8 games. That'll be plus money in this one. Matt Boldy, 9 goals in his last 6 games. He has goals in 4 of those 6. Coming off a game where he didn't score, I think he gets back on the scoreboard here. Alex Pietrangelo has a point in 8 of his last 11 for Vegas Golden Knights. That will be plus money, most likely once again, and I will be that on that as well. Marc-Andre Fleury will be a net for Minnesota. It's continuing to be the zigzagging when it comes to goaltenders. So he will get to face his old team here in Vegas. Fleury's been playing great. I expect a good game from him, a good game from the Wild. Wouldn't be surprised if this goes to overtime. It's going to be a heck of a game. Super excited to watch it, but I think the Wild get the job done here at a good road price. And our final game, another good game. So the final 2 games of the night, the baseball final games, I think are at 9 something. I think is so the final games of the betting night here are 2 really good hockey games. This one, LA Kings minus 107 to plus 101. Seattle Kraken minus 109 to minus 125. 6s and 6.5s available here. LA 3-2-1 in their last 6, coming off back-to-back losses. Seattle 4-4-2 in their last 10, coming off a win. The Kraken 3-0 against LA this year, looking for the season series sweep between the teams. LA 2-0-1 in Seattle. So they won in Seattle twice last year and then one overtime loss this year. And as hot as this Kings team has been, they're starting to slow down now. And this Kraken team playing really well. And I'm going to take the Kraken here. It's kind of a gut feeling. I'm going to take the Kraken. Two Kraken props. Vince Dunn to get an assist, which he's done in 12 of his last 15 games, uh, which I've mentioned often on the show. And then a fourth line player for Seattle. This is going to be a big plus. You're looking at least probably plus 400 to plus 500, maybe even higher. Daniel Sprong, 4 goals in his last 5 games, continues to find the back of the net for Seattle, and he's on the fourth line. He is, I believe, on the second power play unit, and that could help with his goal scoring as well. But he continues to get 3+ shots and find a way to get a goal in 4 of his last 5 games. So that's where I'm going to go. Take the home Kraken and take those 2 props. We will switch things into baseball here. Let me bring this up. There we go. And our first game of the day here in the MLB. Let's switch all the papers over. We have the Chicago White Sox plus 110 to plus 130. Houston Astros minus 125 to minus 160. 8s and 8.5s in this one here. Let me check what is happening between these things. So yeah, the White Sox right now are up 3-0. Top of the 6th, the guy in second, no outs. 8 hits for the White Sox, 1 for Houston. Houston's offense hasn't really been there so far to start the season. Obviously, it's 2 games, but I could see this being a spot where maybe the offense does get going. Lucas Giolito, 11-9 last year with a 4.9 ERA. For Houston, it'll be Jose Urquidy, 13-8 with a 3.94 ERA. Last year, I do see an advantage here with Urquidy. He's a pitcher I'd rather back again than Lucas Giolito. But I'm not running to back Houston at this price. Maybe at the minus 125 price, but definitely not the minus 160 price. I don't think they get swept by the White Sox, but it's very possible. So nothing officially for me in this game, in this one. Moving on along to our second game, we've got the Toronto Blue Jays minus 115 to minus 133. St. Louis Cardinals minus 105 to plus 112. 7.5s and 8s in this one. Kevin Gausman on the mound for Toronto, 12-10 last year with a 3.35 ERA. Jack Flaherty, 2-1 with a 4.25 ERA. However, he did not really play all that much last year, coming back off of injury. So he didn't really play. I think he played in 3 games, 2-1 in those. He has a 2-1 record at least, but didn't play in that many games. Now he's starting off this year. St. Louis hoping for a big year from him. The Jays definitely hoping from a big year from Gausman. And I think this is a great price for the Jays. I did bet a little bit, a little sprinkle on a boost on one of my books for the Toronto Blue Jays to sweep the series against the St. Louis Cardinals for plus 550. They won the first game, and I think they win the second game here. The Jays, it was in a very exciting game, back and forth offensively. And even though I really do like Jack Flaherty, I think there's a pitching advantage, at least at this point of the year, with Kevin Gausman. And I really like the Jays lineup right now. Players to get a hit that I'll be targeting tomorrow for parlays, of course. George Springer, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Matt Chapman are the players that I'm going to be targeting. Player points. You can, if your book lets you do same game parlays, you can same game parlay some of these guys. George Springer got, I think, four hits out of 5 at bats. Bo, I think, had 3 or 4. These guys were hitting like crazy yesterday. I'm not jumping on the total here, just because Flaherty has the potential to pitch really well. And I could see a pitcher's duel in the first 5 innings, lower scoring game, and maybe things pick up later on. But I'm just going to be focusing on the Jays money line here on a great price and those players to get hits. Moving on along to our second game, Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs. Milwaukee minus 115 to minus 133. Chicago Cubs minus 105 plus 115. I guess Proline Plus, only available, of course, in Ontario, Canada, has the total up there, which is rare. Most Cubs games, it's really hard to find a total until the day of course, because of weather, wind. We have Woodruff 13-4 with a 3.05 ERA, facing Steele 4-7 with a 3.18 ERA last year. Woodruff a righty, Steele is a lefty. Milwaukee did not hit very well against lefties last year. I don't really expect them to again this year. And they're facing the Cubs, this Cubs team that looked great in the first game of the year. I stayed off, even though I really leaned Cubs, mainly because of the pitching matchup. I wasn't sure what I get from Stroman, although he was fantastic. But I'm going to take the Cubs here as a home dog once again. One, because I loved what I saw from them in the first game of the year. But 2, Milwaukee against a lefty. I don't like that spot whatsoever. For the Cubs, Dansby Swanson to get a hit. He made a big splash in his debut with the Cubs, and I think that continues into his second game here. So I'll be taking Swanson. The next game we have is the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Capitals. Atlanta minus 250 to minus 239 to minus 275. Washington plus 200 to plus 220. 8s and a couple 8.5s here in this one. Spencer Strider, 11-5 last year with a 2.67 ERA, facing Ozzie Gray, 7-10 with a 5.02 ERA. And the odds are pretty fair. Atlanta's a huge favorite, as they should be. I think Atlanta money line is a great parlay piece. I think they win this game. Ronald Acuna Jr., Matt Olson, Travis Denault. Those are the players I'm looking at to get hits in this game. But Atlanta should win this game, and they should win it by multiple runs. I'm not laying on a run line at minus 145, and not taking a super run line at plus 105 either. But I will look at Atlanta money line and a parlay, and of course those players I mentioned to get hit in this one. Our next game, San Francisco Giants and the New York Yankees. San Francisco plus 110 to plus 121. The Yankees minus 131 to minus 143. 8.5s. I do see 1-8 available in this one. We have Cobb on the mound for San Francisco, 7-8 last year with a 3.73 ERA against Schmidt for the Yankees, 5-5 with a 3.12 ERA. Both right-handed pitchers here in this one. And I made a mistake. I made a mistake taking the San Francisco Giants here on the first game of the year against the Yankees. And I'm going to try to correct that mistake here in game 2 and jump on the home Yankees side. Yeah, it's one game, so I'm not going to overreact to one game. But the San Francisco team is not really projected to be very good. And they did not look very good whatsoever in their first game. And a slight pitching advantage here with Schmidt for the Yankees, but the Yankees have a lineup advantage clearly over the Giants. So I think it's a fair price, minus 135, minus 131 at Pinnacle for the Yankees here. And no big surprise who I'm taking to get a hit for the Yankees, and that's Aaron Judge. That shouldn't surprise anybody. Home run in his first at bat. Um, shouldn't shock anybody at all. Our next game, Philadelphia Phillies and the Texas Rangers here in this one. Philly minus 126 to minus 133. Texas Rangers plus 105 to plus 125. 7.5s right across the board in this one. I don't have it written down, so let me pull it up here. Texas Rangers record against the Philadelphia Phillies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 wins in a row for Texas against Philadelphia. They don't really face each other really that often, being in different leagues. But Texas has had their way with Philadelphia. I went with the Philadelphia Phillies in the first game. They had the 5-run lead and then blew it, which really hurt. Now they're here in game two. And I'm not going to jump on Texas in this spot because I don't like Nathan Eovaldi. I 6-3 last year, 3.87 ERA. Wheeler 12-7 with a 2.82 ERA. I definitely think Wheeler is by far the better pitcher here. So first 5, it would be a look towards Philly. But as I saw, and completely got burned badly with the Phillies. I'm not getting involved in this game. Completely passing in it. Passing it. We'll move on along to our next game. LA Angels minus 157 to minus 175. Oakland Athletics plus 135 to plus 146. Eights, couple 7.5s here in this one. And which I'll be doing a lot of the time when Oakland Athletics are playing, I'm passing. I will look to fade the Oakland Athletics, but I won't be looking to back them very often unless they get hot. If there's a stretch where they're winning 5 or 6 games or something like that, then maybe I'll look at them. But they're not a team I'm looking to really back all that much. But the Angels showed in game one that you really shouldn't be laying a big price with them, even with their best pitcher, best player in general. I guess Trout. But Otani, well, it's a person's opinion. Trout or Otani, who's better? But regardless, you had Otani on the mound and you blew that game. So I'm not rushing to back the LA Angels, but I'm not taking the Oakland Athletics either in this one. So this game is an easy pass. Moving on along, we have the Detroit Tigers plus 150 to plus 165. Tampa Bay Rays minus 175 to minus 190. 7.5s. I see an 8 in this one as well. Turnbull. I didn't even mention pitchers in the last game. It'll be Sandoval for the Angels and Fujinami for the Oakland Athletics, who is new to the MLB this year. For Detroit, it'll be Turnbull, who is 11-25 in his career with a 4.25 ERA. Against Eflin for Tampa Bay, 3-5 with a 4.04 ERA. No chance am I backing Eflin at this price. That's not happening. But I'm not taking the Tigers either. So this game is another pass. There's games I like better on the slate. Moving on along to our next game, Baltimore plus 130 to plus 150. Boston Red Sox minus 152 to minus 175. 9s and 8.5 in this game. Both teams went over the 8.5 in the last game. So if you had 8.5 in the last game, both teams cash that over for you. We'll have Dean Kramer 8-7 with a 3.23 ERA here, facing Chris Sale, who is 114 75 in his career, with a 3.03 ERA. It makes sense why Boston is such big favorites here, but the Orioles, definitely in Game One, got the upset win. I think we see Boston get the win here, but obviously they are huge favorites. You would have to parlay them with something else or go with the run line, but I'm not comfortable taking the run line, especially after a 10-9 finish in Game One. Going to stay off this game in general. But I'm not passing in this game. We have the New York Mets minus 118 to minus 125, Miami Marlins minus 105 to plus 110, 8s and 7.5s available here. McGill in net for a net. Thinking hockey, I apologize. McGill on the mound for the Mets, 4-2 last year with a 5.13 ERA against Cabrera for Miami. 6-4 with a 3.01 ERA for Miami. This series tied 1 games apiece. Miami Marlins with the win against the Mets tonight. And now for Game 3, I don't know who wins full game, but I'm taking Miami Marlins first 5 here. I think there's a pitching advantage here with Cabrera, and you can get Miami at plus 105, plus 102. I was hoping for a better price with the plus 1.5 or plus a half a run, but obviously with the line being so close, there's no real advantage there. Miami players that I'm looking at to get a hit: Luis Arias, Garrett Cooper, and Jorge Soler. All 3 players have got hits in both games so far this year for Miami, and I think it'll continue here against McGill for the Mets. The next game here, Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Pittsburgh plus 120 to plus 135. Cincinnati minus 142 to minus 163. 8s, I do see. I think my computer froze there. I hope everything was okay on the screen. But 8.5s, I do see 1/8 available here. In this one, we have Old Man Hill on the mound for Pittsburgh, 8-7 with a 4.27 ERA last year against Lodolo for Cincinnati, 4-7 with a 3.66 ERA in his career. And these are 2 teams that I'm not looking to back. These are 2 teams that I'm not very high on. The only way I'll be backing one of these 2 teams is if there is a trend or a reason to. And at this point of the year, there isn't for me. So I'm completely passing in this game. I don't really have too much thoughts on it. It's a bum fight, at least right now. I don't expect either of these teams to be very good this year. Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals. Minnesota minus 158 to minus 175. Kansas City plus 138 to plus 145. 8.5s right across the board in this game. Sonny Gray on the mound for Minnesota, 8-5 last year with a 3.08 ERA. Jordan Lyles for Kansas City, 12-11 with a 4.42 ERA. Lyles, a pitcher that I love to fade. Sonny Gray, a pitcher that I love to back. Minnesota, the 2-0 win in their first game against Kansas City. And I'm going to ask them to do that again for me. I'm going to take Minnesota Twins on the on the run line here. And I also like Minnesota money line as a parlay piece. Player props that I'm looking to target. Won't be any surprise for Minnesota. Carlos Correa and Byron Buxton, both for the Twins in this one. Next up, three more games and then the best bet segment. Colorado Rockies and the San Diego Padres. Colorado plus 175 to plus 186. San Diego minus 205 to minus 225. 8.5s right across the board here in this one. Arena for Colorado, 3-8 last year with a 5.01 ERA against Waka 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 for the Padres, 11-2 with a 3.32 ERA, a fantastic year for him in Boston last year. And San Diego are big favorites in this one. San Diego money line maybe is a parlay piece. I do think they win this game, but I'm not jumping on the run line uh, in this one. Players to get a point: Xander Bogaerts, who was I think 4 hits in his first game um, in game one. Manny Machado, player I'll be targeting for hits quite often, but that's basically it here. Not too much in this one. Arizona and the LA Dodgers. We have Arizona plus 190 to plus 215. LA Dodgers minus 232 to minus 260. Eights, 1, 7.5 available here. In this game, Bumgarner, 7-15 last year with a 4.88 ERA against the guy who will never age, Clayton Kershaw, 12-3 with a 2.28 ERA. Big advantage here for LA. Again, kind of like with the last game, LA money line, a good parlay piece. But I'm not taking the run line here. Not yet, anyway. My opinion may change tomorrow. But as of right now, LA money line is a parlay piece. Freddie Freeman to get a hit. James Outman also to get a hit for the Dodgers. I saw him to get a hit at minus 115 today for tonight's game. And if you're going to get a good price, he hit very well for the Dodgers in games he played last year. So he's a player I'm going to be targeting on this Dodgers team, especially if he's around that price to get a hit. I think that's a fantastic price, minus 115. So that's where I will be looking in that one. And the final game of the night. This is my one game. I said it already that there'll be one game that you can get. So my premium play for this game, you can get up on picks and parlays. In my late night package, I have an early night package as well. I already gave out my plays in that one. If you want to find out exactly which 5 they are, you can purchase the package up on picks and parlays. Either package, the link is in the description below in this one. But I do have one player to get a hit in this game, Ty France for Seattle. Great game in his first game. Expect a good game from him here tonight. And then all I'm asking is for 1 hit tomorrow in tomorrow's game for Ty France. But that is it. Bring up this tab. And it's April 1st, or it will be for the show. So new best bet this month. So everything is, we start fresh at the beginning. So anyone new that's been watching the show recently, or if you've been watching for a while and you haven't put your best bet in, feel free to put your best bet in. It's a friendly competition and kind of makes it more fun. And also, the name of the channel, Getting Wild with Terry and Friends. I did used to have shows where I'd have a bunch of people on. Obviously, that it's hard to get people, all those people together every day, and the shows get long. But that's another reason why why I like to do the best bet segment, is because it lets everybody else contribute. You can contribute a pick. So obviously the show is not live; it's pre-recorded. So go into the comment section, put your best bet down. The rules are in the description. Has to be one of the main sports. You can do a mixed parlay. So if you want to do a MLB pick and an NHL pick, that's fine. 2-team parlays max for best bet. Single bets obviously are preferred, but parlays are totally okay. 2-teamers. And my best bet for tomorrow looking to start the month off well, and I'm going to go to a team that I trust to get the job done here, and I'm going to back um, Kevin Gosman and the Blue Jays at a good price, -115. My first best bet for the month of April. Thanks to everybody that is watching. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the content, hit the like button. Appreciate all the support. There will be another show coming out Saturday evening for Sunday's games, and then back to our normal on Monday for the live show at 12:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to check us out. Best of luck to everybody today. As I said, feel free to put your best bet in the comments below. Best of luck, guys. Let's all make some money. Have a good one.